Welcome back to the Daily Dose of Dopamine. I'm Susan Scarlett. That guy's Robert Cochran. Ta-da-da. And I'm tuckered out, dude. I just came from a
Oh,
workout.
whatever you can tell me, because you've had a day. So,
Oh no, I just said I just came from a workout and
oh,
I'm
literally.
literally and I'm tired, but I'm happy because I'm proud of myself.
I thought the day itself was a workout, and that's okay, no
It
worries. So,
was.
what
It
was the
was.
physical workout that you had?
The physical workout, is that what you asked?
Yeah,
Classic
what was it?
classic strength training.
Okay, and
A lot of
what's that like? Because people
lot of
probably
back.
don't know what is your classic strength training like?
Oh, well, gosh. I don't, I don't, I don't even know. I put myself in the hands of my trainer, who's a lot smarter than I am, and I trust him to kind of read what's going on.
When did you start lifting weights?
And uh, seriously, of course, I got way, way more disciplined and focused when I heard exercise, exercise, exercise from every Parkinson's, corner of the world. But the truth is that when in 1998, we had a Danish kid live with us for about 6 months, and he was an athlete, and I'd never seen anything like it. He was a distance runner, and it was an amazing experience to be around somebody who trained in all kinds of weather. And so well, actually, I walked in. Chip was exercising, and I walked in to hand him um, something in the gym one day, and his trainer, they had been talking about me, and he said to him, "Tell Susan what you just said to me." And he looked at me and he said, God, I'm not sure I can remember this exactly, Robert, it was a while ago. He said, if you don't start moving more and develop a regular exercise program, you need to understand that simply because of your age, doing nothing else, you're losing 3 to 5% of your muscle tone every year.
Wow, wow.
And I was like, okay, so then if I do something, maybe I can get stasis, but in order to not get, you know, and that was a real wake up call. And man, it was a hoot. I started strength training, and then it turned out his wife taught Pilates, and it was fascinating. No proprioception at all. I had no idea of my body in space, and especially doing Pilates, I could really, really tell. And then I still was working out with those guys when I got the Parkinson's diagnosis, and I do suffer from the neurogenic orthostatic hypotension, which is whenever I do something like a squat or lean over, get real, real lightheaded. And man, I was just always they put me in a like a frame where
Cage, yeah.
the bars, a cage, yeah. I would do all my squats and all my kinds of things that would put me at risk. They put me in the cage to do that so that when I stood up, I had something to hold on to so I didn't fall over.
Sure.
And that's still true. And so it actually takes 8 or 10 or 12 seconds before the bottom drops out. So I can stand up just fine and I look just fine. But if I start walking across the gym to do the next thing, as I can't do that. I sort of learned just,
That's fascinating.
yeah, that NOH thing is real. It's pretty real.
So, a lot of people hear this and Parkinson's or no, they think it's too late for me, or what could I possibly do? Whatever emotion they're putting on the thing, the physical reality is we can start anytime.
Yes, and I've heard that from so many people in our Parkinson's community. Certainly was my experience. I didn't want to. I
Right.
didn't crave it, right? It wasn't like I was on a team or like you and training for a thing, a
Yeah.
marathon or anything. But when Adam came along and wanted to do that inspirational swim for me, that 65-mile swim that we documented in our little documentary, Victory Swim, he said, I want to do this with you.
Yeah.
He wanted to do it to inspire me, but he wanted me involved. And so we trained together for 6 months. He created daily, weekly training program for me, and I guess I was still, how was I doing that? Who was I working out with then? I must have been still the first guy. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was in there at the gym too, and yeah, and there are all kinds of motivations, there are all kinds of reasons, but you are so right. We just build every day, like
Yeah, well, and like you used that word stasis before, which is interesting. And just back to what you said about what Chip said, is that, doing nothing has an effect. Doing something has a certain effect. Doing more than something has another effect. So there's no effectless way of living. And
yeah.
the constant is a form of degradation, right? That our bodies are going to, let go faster if we let them, based on, all kinds of reasons, and maybe I can't even get into the exact medical why, but just to say that the growth part is the part people can kind of accept the degradation. They have a hard time, like school, accepting the barking, accepting the possibility that they can grow as well. That's the literal thing. People go, oh no, not for me, or not my time, or somebody told me, or interior belief system that for whatever reason they think they can't, they're not, for whatever reason, entitled to or worth having the growth that it allows.
And I've discovered there are so many ways to be successful. So if someone had said to me when I got Parkinson's, you need to take up rock steady boxing, that is the answer.
Right.
Well, I tried rock steady boxing and I didn't love it. A lot
Right.
of my friends do, but if
And we
that
love
was,
rock steady, absolutely, but it's
yeah,
not for everyone, we know that.
yeah, it's amazing what 600 outlets they have now. I mean, it's amazing. But
Absolutely.
because it wasn't for me, it didn't mean that was my only option, nor did it mean it was not a good option. And the same with many other things. Cycling, for example, my neck stuff doesn't want to allow that. And that's okay. There's a lot of other things I can do, and I do. And then when you start doing it, you feel, yes, it's hard, and that's okay. Yes, you're building strength, you're building endurance, you're building capacity, you're building self confidence, you're building muscle, you're building tone. And yeah, I mean, my clothes fit better too. And I'm keeping Parkinson's at bay as best I can.
So the correlation I see there in that last little funny to me that you said was, my clothes fit too. That's almost like the comedy part of yes and exercise. We run into that in our classroom all the time, of talking to people, and they'll struggle with something and they'll be like, gosh, I mean, everyone else is doing fine. And to say, hey, this is either new to you, or for whatever reason, an exercise you struggle with. And that's where you hear me, I'll drop the corollary to the weight room, right? And say, the first time you walked in, did you put 400 on the bench press? And yeah, no, you didn't. And that's okay. We have to step ladder up, and constantly work toward that thing. And by relieving, it's funny, in reviewing the literature right now, because that's my systematic review, how many researchers are putting comedy into that. And I find that to be a very limiting uh thing to do to improvisation and the person coming in, because if that's an immediate pressure to me, is that they should feel like this is comedic improv.
Oh, I
Well, then
see.
I better put on my red nose,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
um
yeah. Where is
so
that red nose anyway? Oh, I guess I can't come to class today. I can't find
right.
my
Or
red nose.
yeah, I'm not that person, right? Again,
Yeah.
just like weights aren't for me, improv isn't for me, because I'm not funny. You know, that is, once again, our title, where we cross over yes and exercise. We use these exercise principles, and we tap into the same kind of, I think, insecurities as well as growth aspects, using improvisation, as opposed to, whatever intervention you might use in a strength training program, in a rock steady program, whatever. We're using the same principles. And by the way, I'm wearing my comedy sports shirt. So
Yes, you are. Check it out. Yeah. So I'm maybe going to propose that we have the word yaks for a reason. It's a little
yeah,
different.
yeah,
The yaks version of improv is not anyone's classic version of improv. So those people who are doubting themselves, it's not apples and apples.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's who we are. Apples and apples and plums to plums. Let's leave it there for today. That's your daily dose.